My vacation was not as I planned. Good morning. Welcome to my 40th birthday celebration. All right, so here's to a very interesting morning. So my flight was supposed to leave at 8:30 this morning, and instead there was a mechanical issue on the plane. And so we've been delayed by 2 hours, which means I am going to miss my connecting flight in Atlanta. So in order for me to still get to my destination by today at all, they are routing me through Cancun instead of Cozumel, which is about an hour drive from where I was originally supposed to land. So it allows me to get there today, but it definitely changes the flow of the trip so far. So here we are. I'm about to get on the delayed flight to hopefully not have any issues once I get to Atlanta. We'll see. Trying this again. Hey. Hello. How are you? We're trying again. Here we are. We're gonna get it. I flew to camp. Well, I had 15 minutes to get from my flight, from getting off the plane to getting to the new flight. So I ran through the airport. Luckily, I got there on time. I get off the plane, and they don't have my bag here either, of course, because the bags don't move that fast. Even though I move that fast, the bag doesn't move that fast. So now I'm in Cancun, and I talked to this wonderful gentleman, Jose, because I had already paid for my transfer from the airport to the resort, and I tried to fix it online, but my resort wasn't available from here in Cancun. So I said, okay, I'll just talk to them when I get here because I don't know how to fix it. So I get here, and the reason I can't fix it is because they don't do direct transfers from the Cancun airport to Cozumel, because Cozumel is an island, which I knew, but I was hoping someone would be able to get on the ferry and take me the whole way, but that's not how it works. So now, Jose helped me get a transfer from the Cancun airport to the ferry in Playa del Carmen. Once I get there, I will get on the ferry, which I don't know how long the ferry ride is. And then from the ferry, I will take another taxi from the ferry to Occidental Cozumel. And I am going to send all of this to Delta to pay for it once I get home. So, what I should have been getting very close to my hotel at this point, my journey is maybe halfway through. I still have quite a bit to go, and I haven't had a chance to really sit or eat. And my lovely driver was so kind. He offered for me to eat
But at this point, I just want to hurry up and get it over with. So we'll eat when we get there. Um, yeah, more updates to come.
Let me tell you, I hope this ride is quick, because I usually get seasick.
Oh wow, you've had a long day so far. Thank you for the update. I mean, we went, we partied, we had a good time. I am here fighting sleep. I am tired, trying to decide if I'm gonna just call this a day and not do anything. But nonetheless, I am so glad that I saw that video to know that you are okay, that you're gonna make it to your airport. Hopefully, you know what? I hope that your luggage makes it to Cozumel as fast as it possibly can, as in today or tomorrow morning at the latest, and they're able to shuttle that thing over to you quickly. Other than that, make sure you enjoy yourself. Please take a breath. As soon as you get to your resort, forget it all. Walk to the beach and put your feet in the sand. Put your feet in the sand and touch the water. Instead of touching grass, touch sand. Touch water. Okay, bye.
Okay, so I'm finally in some clean clothes for the first time in since I took a shower before the night I traveled. So I'm going on 36. Well, after 36 hours, I finally got a shower and it feels really good. Except that the water was cold, so I gotta go talk to them about that. I usually don't have this many problems on a trip, but you know what? I'm not gonna let it mess my trip up. This is a vacation and it's fine. I figured it out. I'm good at entertaining myself. So yay for getting luggage. It's finally here. I'm so excited to finally have luggage. And yes, now I am about to go and eat, tell them about my hot water, and then go sit by the pool for a little bit. Hey, good morning. So if you're about to go on vacation or you just got off of vacation, this video is for you. So I love being able to take amazing trips, but I have found that if I want to make the most of my trip, even if it's a vacation instead of a workation, that I need to have some forethought about how I'm going to make the best of my vacation. Not just as a Black woman entrepreneur, that's what I do now. Even when I was a corporate professional, I still knew that I needed to have a little forethought about about getting the most out of my vacation. So, what I did for this trip, I am in Cozumel, Mexico, celebrating my 40th birthday. I just took a few notes of what were some of the things that I wanted to do while I was here. Um, and also, what did I want to feel by the end of this trip? And I wrote those things down. This video is a recap of how my week went and how well that vacation plan actually worked. And part of it is for you, but also it's partly for me. It's like a debrief so that I can make sure that every time I do this, I get a little bit better. Okay, so here's the other thing about that. Creating a vacation plan is relatively new for me. In general, when I want to go on vacation, I just want to really not do anything. For the most part, my motto for a good vacation is bathing suits and beaches. And that was the same for this trip as well. Um, but I also know that over the past Christmas holiday, I chose to take a vacation where I didn't leave the city and I tried to get myself not to work. And it was a little bit of a disaster. So I will say, even this first reflection that I'm recognizing from the difference between that vacation and this one, or that break and this break, is that I need to have more of a plan for a staycation. Whereas for a vacation where I'm going to somewhere new, it's been a lot easier to just move into um, a relaxing mindset. It's funny, I was on an interview with Michelle Fox this week. I invited her to speak on my YouTube with me about needing a vacation or a retreat. And when she talked about taking her sabbatical, she says that she took her sabbatical with the intent of just being off for the 30 days, but still being at home. And she quickly realized that that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough to help her move into this restful and reset mindset. And I think that's the same thing now that I'm reflecting. I think that that's the same thing that happened to me in December when I was trying to take some time off, but I didn't physically leave. So I've already started planning out what that next holiday season is gonna be for me because it's a time that I prefer to travel and it just didn't work out last year. That I'm going to make sure I travel somewhere on somebody's house that doing something or at least going dancing, but probably all of the above. So that is my first reflection. Mm. Yeah, so this video is going to be a few reflections that I've realized so that we can enjoy and make the most of our vacation um intentionally, not by accident. Okay. So like I said, I made a list of the things that I wanted to do on my vacation. Here are just some of a few of those things. Um Sunrises and sunsets every day, walks on the beach alone so I can sing and commune with God, reading books, sitting on the beach and listening to the water, um, lounging in a hammock, ATV around the island, that was a question mark. And then I knew I had two live streams to do with you guys, my community. And then I wanted to get dressed up for dinner for at least 2 evenings. So out of the things that I had on my list, funny enough, uh, let's see, I didn't get to do sunrises or sunsets. So the sunrises were pretty much on the other side of the island. And yeah, I didn't get up to drive over there to go do that. But then the sad thing, the sunsets on this side of the island, they were always cloudy in the evening. So I didn't even get a chance to enjoy those either. So I was a little sad about that. I'm not gonna lie. And yet still, um, the during the day, that ended up being a little different than I expected. So, um, compared to my last vacation, I've gotten a lot better at enjoying the pool. I don't know about you, but I'm not a swimmer. So I really didn't know how to enjoy the pool or enjoy the beach until I moved to Costa Rica. That taught me a lot. Just hanging out with my friends there. They would just sit in the pool or just sit by the water and let the waves come up. So yeah, I took a page from their book and I enjoyed the pool a lot more this time, which was great because um Cozumel doesn't really have a beach. So you'll see in these videos the water comes almost right up to the resort, and the beach was being washed away. Some of the palm trees were barely holding on. So, yeah, there was no walking on the beach. There was no sitting by the cusp of the water and letting the water come over me. Like, those that current was intense. So there was no getting in the ocean water for me. So I did take a lot of pictures of it. And one of the beautiful things, I still did get to listen to the water a lot. Um, the lunch restaurant was by the beach every single day. So every day I kind of just sit and gaze at the water, especially because it was the hottest time of day. And I got to enjoy that. And that was really nice. Um, so I didn't get any time where I walked on the beach and just sang with the Lord. I did get some really good processing time. This is a trip to celebrate my birthday. My birthday month was really intense for me. It wasn't supposed to be. Some things happened with my mom and I needed to do a lot of processing, but I also had so much work to do when I got back. I really hadn't got a chance to sit still. And I don't think I really realized how much I hadn't sat still until I got here and my body knew that I was resting and I was emotional. So I had a chance to just sit and let some of that emotion out and to journal about my feelings and some of the things that has been happening lately and how some of my relationships around me have been a little stressful and letting those emotions go so that I could have really good conversations with those people so that I could reconnect and move forward. So that was an unexpected part of the trip, but also very, very good for me. Um, so yeah, I'm grateful that I had that. There was no hammock lounging, quite sadly. This resort is actually on is a conservation site. So the brush is super thick and it's super beautiful and lush, but it's not the kind of brush that you want to put a hammock in, okay? Something is going to crawl on you. You wouldn't even want to get close to it. There's a lot of animals in the brush. So yeah, there was no place to do a hammock. So I'm going to have to hammock when I get back to Charlotte. And you know what? That's okay because I mean I have a place to hammock in Charlotte and I can hammock all summer. So I will make sure I do that. I did not get to ATV around the island, but one of my good friends came and did this was stayed a couple days with me, and she rented a car, and so we did drive around the island. Let me tell you, this island is like this big. It took us no time at all to drive the loop that was actually available. There's one main road, and there was probably some off roading, but we didn't have a vehicle that was good for off roading. So we took that road the whole way around. It was one good loop. We were probably done in about 2 hours. So the island is beautiful. The water is literally spectacular. Like it is so beautiful, but it's also really rough water around Mexico, around Cozumel. So, and I remember I've been to Riviera Maya as well. And when I was there, the water there was very rough. I was very intimidated to get in the water compared to like Costa Rica. We sat on the shore the whole time. It was amazing. It was so beautiful. Was not able to do that here. So yeah, and then as far as getting dressed up for dinner, I got dressed up for dinner 3 out of the 4 nights. And the 4th night, I still went to dinner. So what they do on this resort is there's always the buffet available, but you can make reservations for the different restaurants. Um, and so we had a reservation or yeah, had a reservation for the restaurants almost every night, and so the first 3 nights got dressed up. Last night, I was on my own, and I was starting to pack, and I was like, "Oh, my shoes, my heels decided to they must have dried out. I hadn't worn them in a while. I went to put them on and they both fell apart. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I think it discouraged me because I was like, okay, well, I guess I can't be as cute as I want to be. So I just wore some shorts. But then I got to the restaurant and I wish I would have worn my dries with just my flat sandals anyway. But I still enjoyed getting dressed up and going to dinner every single night, and I actually really this summer want to make sure I just do that for myself anyway. I like getting dressed up. It's fun. So I was glad that I definitely had a chance to do that over the week as well. So all in all, giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down for how my vacation plan went. Um, oh, I know what the other thing was. So the other thing was that I plan to read a lot of books over this vacation. But one of the things I realized after I started reading was that I needed a chance to just sit with myself. And so here's my caveat to creating a vacation plan. While you create one for yourself, also consider that once you sit still long enough to actually ask yourself what you need in that moment, you might realize that some of the things that you planned are not what you need. So, while I didn't read nearly as much as I would have in the past, and it was completely okay. It was actually nice to not stimulate my mind and just allow it to just be and rest. Allow me to just rest and be since my mind is in my body. Um, and so I had a good bit of daydreaming time. And that was really good. I needed that as well. And I did do some reading. Um, I it's actually inspiring me that when I go back, I spend one evening a week. There's this jazz canteen down in the city. I can't north that I think that when I go to that event, I want to go to that every Wednesday where they just play jazz. That I might take my book and read and kind of have the music as the background, especially since there's not any words going on, so that I can make more time to read at home. And I think that's going to be really nice. So, yes, my vacation was not as I planned. And that was still a beautiful thing. And I'm so glad that I did the plan. As I talk about all the time, putting a destination in the map doesn't mean that you're going to get there the exact way that you thought that you were going to get there. It just shows you this is exactly where I'm trying to get. And I feel like what I wanted to get out of this trip is that I wanted to reset in a lot of different ways and to detach. Um, And some of the things that I thought were going to help me detach ended up not being the best way that I needed to detach. And yet, because I knew that I wanted to detach, I prioritized figuring out the best way to do it in the moment as I was getting things done. You know how on a GPS, if you put in the destination, it'll keep recalculating. So my original path was to read books and walk sunsets and all of those things to get to the destination of resetting and going back home refreshed. But that didn't work out. I couldn't do the sunsets. I couldn't walk on the beach. But instead, I found that I actually binge watched a show called Renegade Nell, and I would watch that while I was getting dressed for the evening. I did a lot of daydreaming. I did a lot of just standing in the pool and just wading in the water, which was beautiful. I did a lot of listening to the water. Um, those ended up being exactly what I needed. And yes, that was a different path to get to what I wanted. And yet it was beautiful and it was perfect. And I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did, even if it wasn't the exact path that I thought it was going to take. So, my two little cents that I suggest if you're about to go on a vacation, I would say give yourself what are two words that you want to feel after you finish this trip? That's giving yourself a bit of a destination of what you want to get out of your trip. And that could be a sabbatical trip, a vacation, a retreat, whatever kind of trip it is, even if it's a workcation, because sometimes you can take a workation where you get away from everything just to get some work done. So whatever kind of trip it is, choose what are two words that you want to feel by the end of the trip. And then write a little list, brainstorm a little list of the ways that you think you're going to be able to accomplish that. And then when you get on the trip, have your hands open
and be open to the idea that it might not happen the exact way those list of things that you wrote out, but also allow Jesus to come and be his magical self and do what he does to help you accomplish that destination, to accomplish that feeling. And yeah, just have your eyes settle on making sure you're making space to feel those things by the end of the trip. Um, that's what's made, even though I've had some ups and downs on this trip, let me tell you, getting here was a hot mess. There were a couple other things that didn't quite go as I planned, and yet I can still say this trip was exactly what I needed, and that I'm glad that I came and that I got what I wanted out of this trip, even though not everything happened perfectly and that I didn't necessarily get everything that I thought that I was going to get out of this trip. I think that's super important. Now, if you're after the trip, if you've already taken your trip, what I suggest is just take a second, get an hour, get a nice comfy chair, a drink, and either your iPad or a pen and paper, and just journal out, some of the things that happen on the trip and some of the things that your mind is trying to process that you might not have really given yourself space to receive, like how relationships are affecting you, how your business or your job is affecting you, um, some changes that might be brewing in your mind. Like, take some time to write all of those things out because it's going to give you some clarity once you get them down on paper. It was really great clarity for me, and once you have that clarity, it makes it easier to decide how to move forward. So take some time and think about, use that exercise to write all of that down because that will help you still get a lot out of the trip, even if you didn't go into it with an intention, and having clarity of what that intention is. So I hope this video has helped you. If you don't know me, I'm Rashida. I am a life coach for Black women entrepreneurs and corporate professionals who um, are tired of being on all the time, who want a lifestyle of working less and living more, who want to live a great life where they're building wealth and prioritizing their passions. So on this channel, I constantly talk about um, using vision casting to redefine success from what you think you have to be at work to who you are and who you want to be. Like we get to define success for ourselves. And I help my clients do that in addition to helping them build a life that's about their priorities, not about the external things that we've been made to think that we should do, because that's a bunch of BS. So, um, that looks like talking about travel, vision boards, eating good food, and physical wellness are just some of the main topics that I love to discuss all the time. If any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure you take a second to subscribe. And if you know anybody who is about to go on vacation and you know that they could stand having a little bit of help to make the most of their vacation, send this video to them. Um, and if you're about to go, you use this video too. It's been really good for me to help me make the most of my vacation. And I hope it helps you make the most of your next trip as well. All right. Like, let's have that flexibility in mind. That we can have both, and it's timing and it's due
Mm.
timing. So, yes,
And that
yes.
speaks to mindset right there. I
Mm-hmm.
love to talk to women about I think a lot of us can get into that black and white thinking of it's either this or it's that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to encourage
Mm-hmm.
people to look at the possibilities. Can it be and?
Yeah.
Can we have this and this
Yeah.
versus or? So
Yeah.
I love your thinking about all of the possibilities.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yes, thank you. I enjoy it so much. Which brings me to the second part. So we talked about, okay, a vacation or a retreat, and specifically some really beautiful details about how a retreat can serve us with getting into that intentionality. I want to help us afford that retreat. Because again, if we're not intentional about it, what we do is we say, okay, I'm just going to eat ramen for a while or whatever poor man meal that we have. And I'm just going to like bust my behind and save up for a little while until I can pay for that retreat. And then life happens. And when life happens, then we have to use some of that savings and that puts us behind and we don't know how to get back on track. And so then we end up putting it on a credit card, which then gets us in more debt, which then means we have to work more because we can't just not pay the debt. We're not going to be able to do anything else if we do that. So that doesn't work. So it traps us in. We're in this circle that traps us in that keeps us from taking the vacation. Like I was thinking about what is the number one thing that would keep people from taking this retreat or taking the break. And it comes back down to money. And so I've been really blessed. The Lord, like I said, has taken me on some amazing adventures. One of them was I paid off $69,000 in debt in 2.5 years, completely debt free. And while there was
Amazing.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so in that, I learned some really great tools and some really great skills to help me manage my money to not just be able to pay off the debt, but also to afford my vacations and afford this lifestyle where I can be in this flexible, be able to come and go and move and live this lifestyle of freedom that I love so much. And so while that's a part of my bigger program, I really wanted to make something that's specific to helping you get on this next vacation, this next retreat, because I don't want you to have to wait that long to get to this break. You need this break sooner rather than later. So I have set up a budget breakthrough intensive, and it's a 90-minute call. We're going to get on there and get your money straight, figured out the plan for you to get on. Now, I'm going to say, get planning to get directly on to Michelle's retreat in September or February. But if you have a vacation or something else that you're working on, we can work on that too. The point is, you need a break. And if you don't want to plan it, you already got an option here too. But I'm going to help you afford it. So it is a 90-minute call. You have a little bit of prep so that when we get on the call, we make the most of the time. And then we're going to get on there and get the work done. Contrary to like the DIY, oh, you can read this book and you can do this course, because people get off track with that. I understand you get overwhelmed with the numbers, you get overwhelmed with the math, you get overwhelmed with the shame and feeling like you should have never been in this spot. Girl, I've been through all of that. I get it. I want to help you move past that really quickly and just get to the break. And so I hope that you sign up for the budget breakthrough intensive. It's going to be a great time. It's a one-on-one call. And here's the thing, because I don't do this all the time, there's only 10 spots and it's $97. That is really cheap. And I do it intentionally because for one, this is a small set of helping you get to those long-term goals, but I really want to see you get on that trail. I really want to see all of us take a break. All of us. So, if you're interested in that, both Michelle and my offers, the information for the retreat and for the budget breakthrough intensive is in the description. So make sure you check them both out and don't wait too long because Michelle, how many spots are available for your retreat? Out.
Yeah, we only have 10 spots available for the first one and 8 spots available for the second one. So, yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, this is not endless amount of spots, and there's only 10 spots available for the budget intensive. So don't wait. When you see this, go ahead and start making some moves, start figuring some things out so that we can get you there by the end of the year or early next year. I don't want you to have to put off this break anymore. I don't think either of us care what type of trip you take. There is something beautiful about taking a retreat because it really simplifies it. So I think what I want you to remember is you already know you need a break. But I want you to know there's a simplified way to do this. There's a simplified way to afford it. There's a simplified way to get to your next goal, to get to your next dream, to get to your next level. And we made it available for you to do it. And you deserve it. You don't have to do this the long way. You don't have to do this the DIY way. You don't have to be the strong Black woman or the powerful woman that bulldozes your way through it. You can actually get to this point where you do not have to work as hard to get to that beautiful space. You can work less and live more, and we're happy to help you do that. So take advantage of it, okay? Take advantage of it. That's my thought. What about you, Michelle?
Well, that rolls beautifully into our and or conversation, because I know we started
Mhm.
off this conversation of retreat or vacation, and I'm actually going to push our listeners even farther to say, how about both? How
Come
about
on.
planning ahead starting today? So I that is my personal challenge to all of us listening. So today is May, I'm looking at my wall calendar, May 15th. So between now and May 15th, 2025, I wanna see both. I wanna see you take a
Yeah.
vacation, and I wanna see you come to one of our retreats. So that is my personal challenge.
Mhm. I love it. I love it. That is perfect. So good.
Mm.
Okay, you guys. Well, with that being said, we're going to wind it down. If you want to watch the replay from the beginning, go ahead and make sure you do that. Share this with another woman who you know needs both, who you know needs a break. Share it with them, okay? Questions, post them in the comments. Both Michelle and I are on Instagram, so you can DM us questions. If you're on my email list, you will get all the information there. Michelle has an email list as well, so that you can stay in touch. Use all the resources. We're here for you. We care about you, so we love being connected with you.
Thanks for the chat, Rashida.
For sure. Thank you so much for joining us. This was great. Like I
This was
couldn't
a
have
lot of
asked for
fun.
a better co-host on this. Like this was such a good time. Thank you so much for being here, Michelle. I appreciate you so much.
You are welcome. And once again, happy birthday.
Thank you. I said I was going to do that. Oh Lord, I'm being terrible. Okay, I'll give you one more goodie before we leave. Let me see how this is going to work. So I use my phone as my camera. So let's see if I can actually stand up. The water has been so dang high since we've been here, and it's blurry, but it is simply magnificent, you guys. Like, I'm getting too far away from my laptop. It's not going to let me do it. I was trying to get over there. I'm not prepared. But you guys, like, yeah, enjoy the view.
That is lovely. Look at that ocean.
I know.
Yes,
And the palm
please.
trees, they just make me so happy. Palm trees make me happy.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. All of the yes. Oh, that
I
is
love it.
beautiful.
All right, then.
That is
Okay.
beautiful.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Have a great day too. All right.
All right, thank you.